Did you know that the country with the strictest rules on Earth has more cosmetic surgeries than all of Europe combined? In a place where showing skin is a no-no, people are changing their faces in ways you wouldn't believe. Now, here's something you might not expect. What could possibly make a wife in Iran choose a second wife for her husband? It sounds crazy, but it's true. When you think of Iran, your mind probably jumps to images of veiled women, strict laws, and a place that feels distant and foreign. But what if I told you there's more beneath the surface? What if there's a side to this country that might just surprise you? This is just the beginning. So sit back, relax, and join me as we take a deep dive into a country that's puzzled even the most experienced travelers. These are the 15 mind-blowing facts about Iran. And by the end, you may find yourself looking at the world in a whole new way. 15. Beauty behind veils. Iran's secret. When you think of the beauty capital of the world, the land where cosmetic surgery reigns, South Korea probably comes to mind. And who could blame you? But after hearing this next fact, you might find yourself questioning that assumption. In a country where many women are required to cover their hair and often their faces, beauty may not seem like something you'd expect to see publicly flaunted. Yet Iran, with all its contradictions, quietly leads Asia in nose surgeries. Every year, tens of thousands of Iranians, both men and women, go under the knife, not in secrecy, but proudly, even openly. So, what does beauty mean in a land where faces are often hidden, yet so carefully sculpted? For many, it's become a symbol of status, confidence, and even quiet defiance. A bandage on the nose is no longer something to conceal. It's a sign that says, I can afford this, or I care about how I'm seen. In a society where modesty is the norm, the nose has emerged as an unexpected canvas for self-expression. Cosmetic clinics thrive in cities like Tehran and Shiraz, with prices significantly lower than in the West, but results just as impressive. Iran has become a destination for what's now known as medical beauty tourism. Behind closed doors, the Western ideal of beauty, small, sharp, symmetrical, has slowly taken root in the country, quietly, almost imperceptibly. But it's not just transforming faces, it's reshaping identities themselves. 14. Love's unlikely choice. Why wives choose wives. Far from the bustle of city streets and the flashing lights of neon signs, deep in the southern mountains of Iran, live a people who still follow the rhythm of the seasons. The Qashqai tribe has roamed these lands for centuries, herding livestock and carrying stories with them like treasured heirlooms. But among their many customs, there's one that stands out, something few in the modern world could ever imagine. In the Qashqai way of life, a man can't take a second wife unless his first wife agrees. And not only that, she is the one who must choose the second wife for him. It often happens when a couple struggles to have children. But it's not resentment that fuels this tradition. It's a deep loyalty, a belief that family comes before pride. In this world, living alone is seen as unnatural, almost selfish. Everyone is expected to belong to someone, to something, to a shared purpose. It's not about individual freedom. It's about survival, about lineage, about the herd. But as the years pass, the modern world inches closer. Cities promise freedom but often take more than they give. The younger generation is leaving, not out of rebellion, but out of confusion. And the elders understand this truth. When the last storyteller is gone, who will remember what it meant to live by the wind? But let me ask you something. If this tradition existed in your country, in your own culture, do you think your wife would ever choose a second wife for you? Not out of jealousy, but out of duty, or maybe even love? And more intriguingly, would you accept it? 13. Temporary love. Iran's marriage mystery. In Iran, love doesn't always follow the rules we're familiar with. It can be legally binding, temporary, and agreed upon with a handshake. It's called sighe, a practice of temporary marriage. But this isn't something whispered in secret corners. It's backed by religious law, accepted by the government, and deeply ingrained in the culture. For a limited time, a few days, a few months, or just an afternoon, a man and a woman can enter into a sacred pact. They go to a mosque, recite sacred verses, and leave as husband and wife. But there's a catch. The bond lasts only for the time they've mutually agreed on. There's no shame, no secrecy, no breaking of the law. Some view this as a solution for young people who can't afford the traditional path of marriage, but still seek emotional companionship without breaking religious norms. With the majority of the population being under 25, and the weight of economic challenges pressing down, Siga seems like a way out, or at least that's how it appears on the surface. But if you look a little deeper, the reality is much more fragile. Children born from these temporary unions often grow up not knowing their father. Women involved in these marriages sometimes face isolation, stigma, or even abandonment. And while the contract offers legal protection, it doesn't always protect the heart. Some men use Siga as a way to avoid long-term commitment. Others use it to satisfy desire while avoiding the weight of responsibility. And in your world, would you call this freedom, or is it something entirely different? 12. Is Iran the world's misunderstood giant? To much of the world, Iran is seen as a threat, defined by missiles, militias, and menace. But take a step back, widen the lens, and something doesn't quite add up. Since the 1979 revolution, Iran has been the West's favorite villain. But here's a fact that often gets overlooked. In the last 250 years, Iran has not launched a single war of conquest. Not one. Even the brutal Iran-Iraq War from 1980 to 1988, which claimed over 500,000 Iranian lives, was started when Saddam Hussein invaded Iran. Today, Iran's military strategy is firmly defensive. Iranian generals repeatedly say, "We will respond if attacked, but we will never strike first." Let's compare this with the military budgets of its neighbors. Saudi Arabia's defense spending per capita is 6 times higher than Iran's, and the UAE outspends Iran by billions annually, according to the Stockholm International Peace Research Institute. Yes, Iran funds proxy groups. Yes, its foreign policy often raises eyebrows, but there's a difference between calculated deterrence and outright aggression. When you walk the streets of Tehran, you don't hear war chants. Instead, you hear wedding songs, job complaints, and the exhaustion of people caught in geopolitical struggles. Iran's streets feel safe, with crime rates lower than many US cities according to travel advisories. So, ask yourself, is Iran truly aggressive? Or has the narrative just been repeated for so long that it became accepted as truth? Who benefits from painting Iran as the villain? Perhaps Iran isn't the aggressor. It's simply been wearing the mask we gave it. Stay with us, as the next fact might flip your perception of Iran once again. 11. Oil and grit, Iran's power. Beneath the vast, dusty plains and towering mountains of Iran lies a force few countries could ever match. Iran is sitting on a treasure chest of natural resources, with the third largest oil reserves in the world, holding over 200 billion barrels. Its natural gas reserves are even more extensive, second only to Russia. Every day, millions of barrels are drawn from the earth, fueling cities, warming homes, and powering the nation's economy. In just 2022, Iran's oil production raked in more than $115 billion. But this isn't just about fuel, it's about survival. It's the lifeblood of the country, providing the money that feeds families, builds roads, and props up a nation that's often cut off from the rest of the world. But every barrel tells a deeper story. The wealth from fossil fuels comes at a high price: pollution, political conflict, and environmental harm. As pipelines stretch across the country, the cost to the planet grows. Iran understands this well. Quietly, in the shadows, it's changing. Solar panels catch the desert sun, and wind farms spin across the mountain ridges. Though renewable energy now makes up just 6% of the nation's electricity, it's a signal, a promise of something bigger, something more sustainable on the horizon. Perhaps that's Iran's real power. Despite the crushing US sanctions since 1979, the country hasn't just survived, it has thrived, adapted, and rebuilt. Not in secrecy, but with unexpected strength and quiet determination. If you've stayed with us this far, we can't thank you enough. Telling these stories takes time, and your time means everything to us. Your support allows us to bring these quiet wonders to light, and we'd love to have you with us for the next one. 10. Persian carpets. Million-dollar stories. The Persian carpet is more than just a piece of fabric. It is a woven soul, alive with history and emotion. Each carpet can take years, sometimes decades, to complete. Every thread is tied by hand, and every pattern is a memory, a symbol of a time long past. The most exquisite carpets can fetch prices that seem beyond belief. In 2013, one such carpet, the Clark Sickle Leaf, was sold at auction for over $33 million in New York. But ask any weaver, and they'll tell you the true value isn't in the price tag. It's in the patience and dedication behind every knot. In Fars province, the birthplace of this ancient craft, women still sit beside wooden looms, weaving with hands trained by generations before them. The dyes used in these carpets come from nature, flowers, bark, and even insects. Every color is alive, every thread a living part of the landscape. No two carpets are ever the same. But here's the question. If no one remembers how to tie these knots, who will carry on the stories? Today, the looms are growing silent. The younger generation, captivated by screens, cities, and faster lives, sees little future in the art of knots and yarn. And with each loom left abandoned, a chapter of cultural memory quietly slips away, leaving behind only the shadows of what was once woven with love and care. Nine. Fire and snow. Iran's desert secrets unveiled. Picture a country where towering, snow-capped mountains rise like ancient walls, guarding deserts so unforgiving that the ground seems to burn beneath your feet. This is Iran, a land shaped by time, shielded by mountains, and seared by the relentless sun. Iran is more than just a country. It's a natural fortress, one built to both protect and test the people who call it home. But here's the kicker. It's not just hot. It's the hottest surface on Earth ever recorded. NASA satellites once tracked ground temperatures soaring past 177 degrees Fahrenheit. And that's not the air temperature. That's the heat of the Earth itself, a brutal force so fierce it could kill in mere minutes. How could anyone possibly survive in such a place? There are no cities, no farms, and very few plants. Yet, even in this barren wasteland, there's something sacred. Beneath the stillness of the sand lie ancient footprints. A staggering 87 archaeological sites are scattered across the desert, each one whispering stories of those who once dared to live where no one should. UNESCO has even called it a world treasure, a raw, untamed reminder of humanity's earliest steps. Iran is home to over 86 million people. That's more than twice the population of California, America's most crowded state. From Persian to Kurdish to Azeri, with over 70 different languages and dialects spoken across the land, Iran isn't just diverse in its landscapes, it's alive with voices, cultures, and traditions that have stood the test of nature and empires alike. What kind of people are formed by snow at their borders and fire beneath their feet? Let's dive into that question in the next part of this travel documentary. 8. Strangers welcomed like family. In Iran, hospitality isn't just a polite gesture, it's a sacred duty. Whether you're a neighbor, a stranger, or a foreigner passing through, the Iranian custom of ta'aruf dictates that guests be treated with the utmost honor. You might arrive empty-handed, but you'll never leave with an empty stomach or an untouched heart. It's not uncommon for travelers to be invited into homes by people they've just met. And it's never just for tea, it's a full meal. Saffron rice, roasted eggplant, fresh herbs, and stews slow, cooked for hours, and no matter how many times you insist, they won't let you pay. That's simply not how it works here. One American backpacker once shared how he got lost in Shiraz. A local shopkeeper not only gave him directions but closed his shop for the afternoon, walked him to the bus station, bought him a ticket, and even handed him a bag of fruit, just in case you get hungry. This isn't an isolated incident, it's the norm. In a world that feels increasingly colder, Iran remains a place where the door opens wide, the tea is poured generously, and kindness flows without any expectation in return. So, ask yourself, when was the last time a stranger went out of their way to make you feel truly at home? Perhaps it's time to visit Iran and experience it for yourself. Seven. Women rule Iran's southern markets. In the sun-drenched province of Hormozgan, tucked along Iran's southern coast, there's a marketplace like no other. It's called Zanan Bazaar. And here, every shopkeeper, every voice behind the counter, every pair of eyes assessing a deal belongs to a woman. Men are welcome to enter, to shop, but they cannot sell. This is not an act of rebellion. It's tradition, one quietly passed down from mother to daughter, from generation to generation. In a country often seen through the lens of restrictions on women, this bazaar tells a different tale. It speaks of agency, pride, and a subtle, yet undeniable power that women hold in the marketplace. The women who run these stalls do so with unmatched skill. They haggle fiercely, smile sparingly, and know exactly the worth of what they're selling. From spices and textiles to handmade jewelry, every item carries not just a price but a presence, the mark of a woman who stands behind it. There are no speeches, no headlines, no protests, just the steady rhythm of daily trade, led by strong hands and unwavering pride. It's not loud, but it's lasting. 6. Iran's refuge for the desperate. You might think of Iran as a nation closed off, even isolated. But history paints a different picture, one of quiet compassion, even in the darkest of times. In the 1940s, while much of the world turned its back, Iran opened its borders to thousands of Jewish refugees fleeing the horrors of Nazi Germany. These families, broken and displaced, didn't just find safety. They found kindness, warm food, shelter, and a chance to start over. And though Iran itself was poor and struggling, it gave what it had. That spirit of kindness lives on today. Iran is now home to over 800,000 registered refugees, mostly from Afghanistan and Iraq, and there could be more than 1 million undocumented refugees as well. But these aren't just numbers. They're families, struggling to survive in a land already weighed down by sanctions and economic hardship. But kindness doesn't come without a cost. Between 3 and 7 million children in Iran, many of them refugees, work in the shadows. Some sell candy at traffic lights. Others sift through garbage or scrub floors in silence. Their laughter still rings out, but it's tempered by the silent struggles they face. In a country under constant pressure from the outside world, it continues to give from within. So please tell us the answer. How do you measure kindness in a country under sanctions? 5. Red gold, the spice that costs a fortune. What if the world's most expensive flavor came from the hands of humble farmers? They call it red gold, not because it sparkles, but because it's so rare, so delicate, and so demanding that it could be worth more than its weight in treasure. Saffron, the world's most expensive spice by weight, has its heartland in Iran. Each flower holds just 3 red threads. To harvest a single kilogram, farmers must handpick more than 11,000 blossoms. There are no machines, no shortcuts, just the careful work of tired hands, aching backs, and generations of tradition passed down through the years. The harvest is brief, lasting only a few short weeks each year, and timing is everything. Miss a day, and the petals wilt. Pick too late, and the vibrant color fades. Yet, despite the blistered hands and sore knees, Iranian farmers continue, driven not just by money, but by pride. Today, a kilogram of high-grade Iranian saffron can cost anywhere from $2,000 to $5,000 US, depending on its purity and origin. You'll find it in specialty spice markets, gourmet stores, and online platforms, often in tiny glass jars, just 1 gram at a time. Pure Iranian saffron can even be bought on sites like Amazon, or at Middle Eastern shops in cities like Los Angeles, London, or Paris. This is the flavor found in royal dishes, exotic teas, and luxurious perfumes. But before it graces silver spoons or fine silk, it begins in cold soil, carefully dug, plucked, and dried by those who may never taste it themselves. 4. Food that warms the soul. Iranian food doesn't demand attention. It doesn't shout from the plate. It whispers, gently inviting you to pause and savor. This is food crafted by hands steeped in tradition, by mothers and grandmothers who didn't learn from cookbooks but from memory, scent, and love. Take kelo kebab, Iran's national dish. Tender skewers of grilled meat served atop rice with a golden, crispy crust called tadig. Or fezenjan, a rich stew made from walnuts and pomegranate molasses, dark and sweet, hauntingly complex. And don't forget ash reshta, a thick noodle soup, earthy with herbs and chickpeas, the kind of comfort food that makes winter feel warmer. But if you truly want to taste the heart of Iran, step outside, into the streets. That's where the magic unfolds. You'll find saffron-scented rice wrapped in warm flatbread, with grilled meats sizzling by the busy sidewalks. Vendors dish out steaming bowls of halim at sunrise, a thick porridge of wheat and shredded lamb, spiced just enough to stir your senses. In the afternoon, sambusas crisp in bubbling oil, and fresh pomegranate juice is poured over crushed ice, offering a taste of pure, vibrant refreshment. 3. Fire festivals that ignite souls. In Iran, festivals are far more than just dates on a calendar. They are moments when the soul comes alive. The most beloved of them all is Nowruz, the Persian New Year, celebrated on the spring equinox. For over 3,000 years, families have come together to greet the light, the warmth, and the promise of a fresh start. They clean their homes, set a half-seen table with 7 symbolic items, and light candles, not just to banish darkness from their homes, but from their hearts as well. Children receive coins, elders share stories, and neighbors exchange sweets and words of kindness. Parks burst into life with music, rivers glow with floating lanterns, and as fireworks light up the sky, the atmosphere feels less like a celebration and more like collective healing. But Nowruz is just one of many vibrant celebrations. There's Chaharshanbe Suri, the fire-jumping festival where people leap over flames, shouting, "Give me your red, take away my yellow." It's a ritual to burn away illness and invite health. In a country often viewed through a political lens, Iran's festivals gently remind the world of something much more profound, the enduring joy of togetherness and tradition. Would you have the courage to jump over fire, as Iranians do during Chaharshanbe Suri? 2. Tehran's affordable life surprises. Life in Tehran, Iran's vibrant capital, may just surprise you, not just in its energy, but in how surprisingly affordable it can be. While prices have gone up in recent years, the cost of living here remains well below what most Americans are accustomed to. Let's start with housing. A 1-bedroom apartment in the heart of Tehran rents for about $400 to $500 a month. Move to the outskirts, and that price can drop to as low as $250. In comparison, similar apartments in cities like Los Angeles or New York can easily cost over $3,000 a month, often much more. The cost of groceries and daily expenses follows a similar pattern. A fresh loaf of bread might set you back just 20 cents. A hearty meal at a local restaurant? Less than $5. Public transportation is clean, efficient, and incredibly affordable, just a few cents for a ride. In fact, a full meal in Tehran costs about $5, cheaper than a cup of coffee in New York. In a world where the cost of living seems to rise faster than our paychecks, Tehran stands as a striking contrast. Life here may be different, but it's also grounded, manageable, and quietly dignified. Tehran offers a modern lifestyle without the weight of crushing debt. So, let me ask you, with prices like these, how does it compare to where you live? Would you consider making a life here? 1. Ancient Iran. Modern dreams clash. When most people think of Iran, they picture vast deserts and ancient ruins. But step into its bustling cities, and you'll discover something entirely different. Tehran, Shiraz, Isfahan. These cities aren't just remnants of history, they're vibrant reflections of a modern, ever-evolving society. The streets hum with the energy of young people, tapping away on smartphones, sipping espresso in sleek cafes, coding in tech startups, and embracing global fashion trends, all while still wearing their headscarves with pride. Iran's universities are some of the best in the region, producing top-tier scientists, engineers, and doctors, many of whom go on to pursue careers around the world. The country has its own satellites, leads in advanced medical research, and boasts a thriving film industry that wins awards on international stages. Women drive, teach, lead companies, and men study art, literature, and design. In between the traffic jams and ancient mosques, you'll find a generation that is deeply rooted in tradition, yet constantly reaching toward the future. The paradox is undeniable. Tradition stands tall, but modern life flows around it like water around stone. Perhaps that's what makes Iran so difficult to define. It's both ancient and cutting edge, silent yet brimming with creativity, constrained yet bursting with energy. Thank you for taking the time to explore a side of Iran the world often overlooks. Your curiosity keeps these stories alive. We hope this journey has left you not only informed but inspired. Stay curious, stay open, and we'll see you in the next chapter.